hours with me.
Or let's actually condense that slightly. I spent 30 hours in a car with you.
Okay.
Which is probably more significant.
I would actually say it was more like 33 hours.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent more than an entire day with Brett in a car. And
why?
His test bench.
Why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell us why?
Okay,
What's going on, Byron?
Wootware had an event this weekend, a Ryzen event.
Wootware and AMD had an event.
AMD.
It was the Ryzen launch in Cape Town.
It was indeed.
Thank you, Wootware, for inviting us. We had a swell time. The only killer was the car seat on my butt.
Yeah.
That was, oh my heavens.
I kind of feel that it's like my anatomy has changed after this weekend.
So we had to make it to the event for Saturday, which meant that my wife told me I couldn't leave before Thursday, which meant we had to leave on Friday, and driving was cheaper than flying. So we left Friday at 1 a.m.
1 a.m. and we didn't sleep. Before that.
Yeah, we didn't sleep before that. And then we got there Friday at 6:30 roundabouts.
Wasn't it 7:30?
No.
6:30.
Like 6:30, because then we took a shower and then we went to have dinner.
Okay, yeah.
So we were back from dinner before 8:30.
That's true. So I came to Brett's house. I was going to sleep here on Thursday night, and eventually I was just like chilling on his couch. He was working on a video because there was a bit of an issue with it, and eventually like 1 a.m. I was just like, dude, I haven't had a second's worth of sleep. Let's just go.
Mm-hmm.
Like because otherwise I'm gonna sleep for like 2 hours. It's not gonna help me whatsoever.
Right.
So got in the car and blew a fuse and not an expression.
Let's not give too much of that away.
And basically we went to Cape Town, had a pretty cool weekend.
It was a good launch, good Ryzen CPU testing, good stuff on display.
Yeah.
It was always fun to be with the Wootware crowd.
Can we talk about that?
I'm gonna have a video coming out about the Ryzen launch. It was really cool.
So there were 3 systems other than a mystery system. Let's put it that way.
Don't mention the. You keep talking, and I'm gonna.
I'm not gonna talk about your mysteries.
No. Don't. There's something else you can't talk about. You keep talking about what you want to talk about.
And then you're just gonna cut me off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. Okay,
yeah,
so
okay.
He had to type some mystery stuff.
Okay, just let's
basically
keep going.
there was a system with a 1700X and a 1080.
There were 2 systems with the 1700X. There was one with the 1080X or an 1800X.
1800X and then one with the 1700.
Yes.
And there were different GPUs from 1070s to 1080s to RX 480s, that kind of thing. They showed off. So Rocket League's not really an intense game, but it was mainly just to show you can record it, you can play it at the same time, you can play multiplayer. It's as good to play on Ryzen than it is on PC.
Yeah.
I mean on Intel.
Yeah.
There was a Doom showcase with Vulkan. There was a Vive. With that one wasn't the 1800X. I think the
that was
Doom
the
one was. Yeah. And then basically the last one was Mass Effect. So it was just like hands-on time, chilling.
There was a comedian.
People, networking.
There was fire dancing. There was a candy bar, not a bar of candy, but a bar to get candy at. Like, you know how you get drinks at a bar? They had one for candy.
Self-catering, if that's maybe the way of putting it, kind of thing. Like, there wasn't a
They
person
weren't charging you.
Yeah, I guess. But it's not like, get me a double whatever. It's like double candy kind of thing. I don't know. It was just like, help yourself to candy.
That was amazing.
That was pretty cool.
And we got some dope shirts.
Yes, we did. Which we aren't wearing because, like,
they're
long
not clean.
weekend, we wore them. Maybe, I don't want to promise anything, but maybe we'll wear it next week.
We'll see. Yeah. They're dope
cool
shirts.
show.
I'm going to keep wearing it.
Yeah.
It says Ryzen on it. I love the shirt. It's a cool looking shirt.
Well, even, like, my girlfriend's not massively into tech whatsoever, but, like,
it's a cool shirt.
Hey, I got you something from Cape Town, and I showed her. She's like, that's a sick looking shirt.
That's right. That's right, it is. Yeah. It is a sick looking shirt.
So the event was cool. We didn't really, like, see much other than that. Like, we didn't really explore Cape Town too much.
We didn't have time, so we showed up for the Saturday event. That ended at midnight.
Practically.
And then we went home, we slept, and then we left for Joburg.
Not straight away.
Because we had a 3-hour breakfast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're back, we're here, we're alive. Thank you guys for joining B-Roll. We were just kind of chatting about our week while everybody kind of tuned in. So now you guys are here. Should we get into this week's articles, Byron?
No.
No? Okay. What should we do? What should we do?
it.
Okay, so let's get into this week's articles. Let's Brett, you did the perfect thing where you didn't actually set this up. So
wonderful, Brett.
I'm so tired that I did not do this properly, and I'm going to do that properly right now.
So guys, we basically on Friday we drove direct, like
There we go. We're
let's
back
say
in action.
more than half a day, and then Sunday and Monday we kind of split it into like roughly 2 8-hour drives, which in theory sounded better than one day's worth of trip, but I think was actually worse to a degree that it's just so draining because it's
Yeah.
like 2 entire days of just staying in a car, other than like eating and resting and talking a bit, and then just being in the car another day.
And your butt hurts.
Oh my gosh, like and the sun, like
It
I'm
still
surprised
hurts.
I'm not burnt. Although my girlfriend was like, "Hey, you've tanned quite a bit," and I'm like, "I'm not brown, but it's like dude, really,
Well,
I'm
just-
definitely a
just-
different color." Like,
Just admiring. Just admiring. All right,
Yeah.
now I have the article set up. Here we go.
okay, sweet.
So we're just going to start off with a few quick little ones. This one excites me. Jak and Daxter games are coming to PS4 as PlayStation 2 classics. This makes me happy. Jak and Daxter was probably one of my favorite. They're platformers technically, yes?
I guess
Like kind of
it's
more
there's
like
an
open
adventure
world.
to it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
adventure to it.
Yeah,
There's
so
fun.
these were my favorite, one of my favorite series on the early days of PlayStation, and I'm just excited to see that it's coming to PlayStation 4 with,
upscaled resolution as far as I can
yeah,
tell.
1080p resolution. The only issue I have is really the pricing, where they're going to charge $10 per title.
So you can get trophies.
I'm not, no, I'd rather you pay $15 for
For
all
all
four
of them.
games.
Maybe 20. 20 for 4 games is still kind of justified.
$10 each, I don't
That's a
even
bit
know if I'm
much.
going to buy one, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I'm not going to buy all three, so I'm not going to buy
Well,
any.
I may be mistaken, but
Okay.
like the first one was still like an HD remix or whatever on PlayStation 3, and then I got it through
Yeah, they
like
did that.
PSN?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
not
about.
PlayStation. What's your normal monthly subscription? Like, what do you call it again?
PlayStation
PSN,
Plus.
right? PlayStation Plus. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
there we
like
go.
free on PlayStation Plus, so it was kind of like, well, I don't know that I'm gonna buy it on the next generation because it was 1080p then.
Yeah.
Like PS3 had full 1080p support.
Oh, people are asking us about the event with Ryzen 5.
Oh no! This was all Ryzen 7.
Ryzen 7. So Ryzen 5 is not coming out in any stretch until April 11th, as far as I know. Both pricing here in South Africa and like the actual benchmarks. I haven't signed an NDA. As far as I know, it's April
you don't-
11th.
Yeah, like.
Nobody tells me anything, but from what I've seen, April 11th is when all of that's going to happen. So there was no Ryzen 5 on display, which is 1700, 1700X, and 1800X.
But I mean, at the same time, we know enough about Ryzen 5 in terms of its spec and everything that it's like there's no real showcase of it right now. Although you could still like justify it versus an i5 versus an
Yeah.
i7, that kind of thing. It's not like it's like kind of imagine doing an event with like a 1050. You're not going to do that. You're going to have the event on the 1080's launch, maybe on the 1080 Ti later, but like you don't really launch the medium to like lower end stuff.
Unless you're AMD, who does that for the 480. Right?
But the 480 was a high end.
No, it wasn't.
To a degree, it was. It was their consumer.
No, because at the time, the 1060 didn't exist. So it came in below everything NVIDIA was offering on the 10 series.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're
But then
wrong.
Ryzen's below it at 6950X. Like, that's a bad
But that's a
argument.
high-end desktop. That's not a consumer grade. 1070 is still consumer grade. It wasn't the Titan that launched. It was the 1070 and 1080. You lost. You lost this argument.
I disagree
No,
and I'm
yeah,
not in the mood to argue. I'm too tired.
Okay.
I'm too tired to argue. He's allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
Oh, using my lines against me. I see how
Exactly.
it is.
Okay, so anyway, Jak and Daxter coming to PlayStation 4.
I'm excited.
PlayStation 2 graphics, just upscaled in terms of res. We don't really know in terms of like higher textures, polygon,
Well,
poly count,
do you
anything
think
like
it would
that.
be the HD remaster from PlayStation 3?
I would
up-res to
assume.
1080.
I would assume.
Okay.
Maybe it was only running 900p back then or something. It's
Yeah,
not impossible.
makes sense.
Or it's just because there's no backward compatibility with PlayStation 3 games that it's now just
That's
giving
true.
access.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Okay.
most likely the case.
All right, Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Brief article, but again, has more issues, just kind of like it's always had issues. They're apparently warping in the dock if you leave them in there to play. Apparently, the heat is bending the plastic
So something that's
and
worth
creating
mentioning.
these, like,
If you have it in your dock, this doesn't just happen by having the dock and off. Like if you play in
Right.
portable mode and you charge it there's no issue
Yeah.
other than the scratching maybe.
well, the scratching. But
Yeah.
so I've left my Switch in the dock for the past 3 weeks because I haven't even taken it out to play with it because I just can't stand Zelda. There's no bending whatsoever, but I
Yeah.
haven't been playing it, so it's the
Yeah.
heat generated
So-
from the console that can actually be warping the plastic, as you
Yeah.
see here. Yeah.
It's sad, but it's not unexpected to be quite honest.
Yeah, it just seems like it was like, I don't know.
There's a lot of like hardware rushing definitely in terms of this device, Where it's like there's the Pro Controller on this page. The Pro Controller is perfect, but it's because it was based off of the previous Pro Controller, which was like developed enough as is. All they did is they added better gyros and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like the console, it's like we don't really know where it is. It's super Gen 1. We don't have a competitor. We don't know how to price it. We don't even know if we should release it now or Christmas. And it's like Xbox is on it. Like what do you call it? The new Xbox, what's it called again? Project Scorpio is coming out. Oh, we should have probably have an article, but I might as well just mention maybe. Project Scorpio.
Digital Foundry is doing something like later this week. They have an exclusive hands-on.
Yes, so Project Scorpio, we don't have an article for this because, I mean, it's not even necessarily confirmed, but Project Scorpio should be announced this week.
Okay.
At least, not announced completely, might not know about its spec, but there's going to be some form of an announcement further than just last year's E3 reveal, which told us nothing other than 6 or 7 gigaflops or whatever. You know.
Teraflops, my friend. If it was gigaflops, it would be
Hey,
dead
I'm
in the water.
allowed to be tired.
Byron, but that doesn't mean you have to be wrong.
Yeah, that's true. But
Okay.
yeah, so basically the Switch...
I'm
the
gonna
Switch
like I'm gonna kidney punch you if you can't get your act together.
The Switch has a lot of issues in terms of its hardware right now.
Yeah.
And this is kind of one of those things where it's just like hitting a nail. It's kind of bad.
Again, do we have to keep talking about the Switch?
I know,
do they
right?
have to come up with new things that are breaking it? Next, we're going to
Although-
find out that the game cartridges are exploding accidentally.
Please don't say that they explode. I have one. I don't want that to happen to me.
I'm just saying.
But-
There's kind of stuff that's just every week.
Yeah, but the one thing that's kind of surprising at this stage is that it's like still selling really, really well. And like Japan, it's selling better than PlayStation. And it's just like, how? I don't get it. 'Cause
PlayStation has been out for what, like 4 or 5 years at this point?
Okay, but a month later, let's look at launch games.
There's still nothing for the Switch.
There's nothing like so today that Lego game came out that like no one cares about.
Lego Worlds?
No, not even. It's like some cop thing, whatever, city undercover.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's like no
Persona
one.
5 came out today. I want to play that.
Yeah, and that's not on Switch. That's on PlayStation 4.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm not
So
even
it's
talking
like-
about that. Okay.
It's kind of like one of those situations where it's like there's definitely better game titles on PlayStation 4 right now. If
Yeah.
I was just gonna buy a console based off of what's available, I'd go PS4 today.
For sure.
You know, unless it's just like you want Zelda or because I mean even like I watched it. So I was playing Snake Pass.
Yeah.
That game came out about a week ago,
Snake Paws.
and Digital Foundry did a video on it today. No, not today. It might have been 2 days ago. I don't even know. Basically showcasing the difference between PlayStation PC, PlayStation 4 Pro, and Switch. And it's like PS4 version better in every single way.
Right.
And it's like they're even to the degree where it's like cutscenes were removed from the Switch version. That's crazy. Like don't remove gameplay elements from a game because of hardware.
Right.
That's gone too far.
Yeah.
Although apparently they patched it in, which I haven't seen because I didn't update mine.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. We need to correct a few things here. 460 low range, 470 mid range, and 480 high range. No. So with the 460 and 470, you have a 460 over here, and then the 470 is over here, and then the 480 is here.
Yeah.
There's like hardly any difference between
Yeah.
these two, but then there's a massive gap here.
Am I safe to assume you could overclock a 470 to a 480 stock?
Sort of.
You could like get it close, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no chance of a 460 even getting close to a 470 no matter what you do.
Not even close.
Yeah.
You have to unlock shader units on a 460 to get it to even match a 1050.
Yeah.
Which is like a 1050 is nowhere near a 1060.
But you know, this is one of those things where it's kind of like hard to kind of discuss because it's like people's opinions change in terms of what is high end. Like,
Yeah.
is high end literally just mean like
1080p, 60 FPS, the latest games.
okay, but 1080p latest games kind of thing is still even like maybe even a 970. You get
Yeah,
what
I
I'm trying to
suppose,
say.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like it's hard to justify because it's like a 1060 in my opinion would not be high end. I would not call it high end, but like does it play games as well as a 980, which I did call high end back like over a year ago?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, but I would when I'm evaluating the level of a GPU, it's
Yeah.
amongst its current generation.
Amongst its peers.
Yes.
So if you had to compare a 460 to everything on the market right now, it is in the junk end. Like
It's-
versus a 1080 Ti and that kind of thing. It doesn't come close.
No, versus a 1050, it's lower than a 1050. The RX 460 is the worst released GPU of the current generation.
Yeah. Not saying it's bad, because like you can run esports
There
titles
can
on
be
it.
there can be value to it, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it's a
Low end. No, bad card or whatever.
Right.
But this is even one of the things that's like, so here's an example. Is a 690 a low end card?
I don't know.
So a GTX 690 was two 680s, which is
Right.
like almost the performance of like a 970 to 980 in like direct performance, not talking
Right.
about where it's supported.
Right.
And it's like, you could argue that it's low end because it's like, it's old and bad.
Yeah.
But that card was the extreme of high end when it came out.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think you should ever call old cards new or high or anything like that.
Right.
It's just like how the argument of low end, high end sucks. Can the game run this? I mean, can the GPU run this game? At what settings are you looking for? Are you trying to look at Counter-Strike 60 frames per second? Get any card.
Yeah.
Are you looking for 300 frames per second? I'm sorry, a 960 is not enough. I'm sorry, a 1050 is not enough.
Right.
You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I get it.
So, anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, we beat that horse to death. Speaking of Counter-Strike,
True.
Speaking of Counter-Strike, Bravado, GG, guys.
Yeah, so
Byron.
Bravado Gaming basically won the Master 8 competition in South Africa.
Mega 8.
Mega 8, sorry, not Master 8. I'm thinking of Masters. And basically, it was sponsored by MTN, and they didn't lose.
Yeah.
They apparently didn't lose a single map, which for me is kind of insane and unheard of. Now,
Yeah.
the thing that I don't know enough information about, I don't know if maybe you know, is that like because there's so many kind of tournaments going on right now in terms of Counter-Strike. I mean, there's this and there's Masters and there's Metal State and there's probably
there's
something
one or two
international.
others. Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, assuming there's something internationally going on right now that people
Right.
are at least trying to get into. And it's like, I don't know that Bravado has like a bunch of teams. So it's like, if these guys are involved in all of these different like esports events right now, for them to have to like still even find time to scrim as their own team is pretty intense.
Right.
Although maybe you could even argue that it's like, what is the best like way of practicing rather than just being in it all the time?
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
But
Yeah.
it's like the reason I'm getting at that is that it's like these guys haven't gone down without like losing a
They
single
lost
match.
to,
Whatever
they lost to
everybody else.
Energy in the Metal State opener.
Yeah, and
But
it's
at
like
the same time, they beat Energy here. at
without
that-
losing anything.
Right.
So it's like something's going right.
Right.
Let me put it that way. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's team reshuffles. I don't know, like in terms of the other teams at least. I don't know if it's like there's only one team in every single one of these that's playing right now.
Yeah.
But either way, GGWP, like it's pretty intense, and just a shout out, well done to them, because it's like it's cool to see that these Bravado is the one what do you call it?
Counter-Strike team. MGO.
MGO that was like, we're not just going to get involved with Masters this year because we really want to try to focus on everything else that's happening on the scene, and it seems like it's paying off.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. Okay.
Next article.
Sorry, I got distracted with chat.
No worries,
and,
man.
I don't know what my life is right now. Okay. AU Optronics and Samsung panel roadmaps Q2 17. So this is the tying into the thumbnail here with new panels that might be coming out in the near future. So scroll
Those
down.
ones, yeah.
So here's the ultra wide, or as they're calling it, mega wide
yeah.
panel. So 49-inch
Which
mega
sounds
wide panel.
amazing at first.
Yes.
Okay.
So 32:9 aspect ratio, which is basically double what a 1080p display is. In the grand circle format, I don't know if that's going to be like a full wraparound where it's like, that would be amazing if it was
Because
like,
it's curved.
yes,
Like
how much of a curve is there?
Yeah.
That'd be great if it
well,
was like that.
let's talk about some of the spec, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
they're calling it DFHD, which is double full HD, which is 3840 by 1080, which 3840 is double 1920.
Yeah.
So it's just double the width.
yeah.
Yeah. It'll be VA technology, which is all right. That was on the Acer Predator Z35. Like the color reproduction is okay.
It's not IPS,
The
but it's
viewing
good.
angles aren't bad. It's just really good, and then you can get really high refresh rates with
But
those
also
panels.
with that curvature, it's going to be helpful either way, because it's like at least it's kind of putting you more in the center of those curves. as well.
1800R, so no, it's not going to be like that. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
And three-side frameless design, 5001 static contrast
Interesting
ratio.
facts though, 144 hertz.
Yes, getting to that, 144 hertz refresh rate on this like massive curve.
So what kind of like display technology is that? Because it's like, as far as I know, DisplayPort like what's 1.4 or whatever at the moment doesn't output that much.
Yes, it does.
Really?
It certainly does, because 3840 by 2160. I think the latest DisplayPort edition supports 4K up to 120 hertz. So this is lower than 4K.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And
Because
then
this
it's
is only
less.
half of 4K.
Yes.
That's true. I'm not thinking
It's
of the
not
resolution.
It's half height.
Yeah, but I mean, that's half the pixels.
That's
what I'm
true.
getting
That's
at.
true. So this is half of 4K at 144 hertz with options for AMD FreeSync and G-Sync. Mass production at the end of this year,
Yeah.
basically.
Now the thing is, at first I was worried because it's like saying 50-inch at like half of 4K sounds terrible, but don't forget that it's side by side. So it's like if you take 49-inch divided by 2, it's like 24-inch.
Yeah.
So it's like having two 24-inch panels next to each other. That's kind of cool. And like I would want this because I've always, like for a decade now, always had two 1080p displays. And it's like I've been in the market, but not necessarily in the budget of wanting to upgrade my displays for quite some time. And I've had my eyes on 21:9 for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I want 21:9 specifically because I'm getting less pixels in my two 1080p's right now. In terms of what's generally available at my budget.
I honestly cannot ever expect myself to pick up a 21:9 2560 by 1080.
No.
I just can't, especially after experiencing 3440 by 1440. No chance.
So in terms of having, let's say, two 24-inch panels at 1080p, but without the bezel in the middle,
right,
and having this on like some form of like VESA mount in the edge of my table,
yes,
that'd be amazing.
Right.
Like I would be down for that.
But like 49 inches would be like this big.
No, it wouldn't, because that's the thing. It's two 24 inches. That's what I'm getting at. You're looking at the wrong aspect ratio.
Oh, because it's still gonna be.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be. Like,
no,
it's gonna take.
It's two.
Because if we do this, and then we double it, that's the entire table.
Okay, but add a slight curvature. It's what I'm using now. It's what I'm using now.
Fair enough.
You're probably covering your face right
Whatever. Nobody wants to see that. Anyways.
Get what I'm saying.
It's all right. Everything's
For me right now, coming from two 23-inch panels, I've had 24 in the past. It's awesome because it's just like there's no bezel in the middle.
Right.
And at least I can game with that because now I need 3 panels to be able to use all of them to game because 2 panels you can't game with like stretched.
Right.
Because obviously the bezel's in the middle then.
Right.
And it's like the only concern though is this going to be one of those like 30,000 Rand monitors, or will this actually be potentially
affordable
at like 2 1080p monitor pricing?
Maybe.
Or even at least like 1.5 a 1080p 144 hertz monitor. So like if this was under 10,000 Rand, it would be worth it.
I think so. Yeah, I could see that.
And then, so then there's apparently other ones too. So there's a double 24.7 inch. What is that about?
Dual 24 offers 3840 by 1200 VA. Same stuff going on here. 3-side frameless design, 60 and 144 hertz variants.
Okay,
so it's just going to be smaller. With
okay,
the 29 by 9 aspect ratio.
Okay, so basically what that is a 16 by 10 times 2. Okay, because you see there 3840 by 1200.
Yeah.
So actually, this is probably more what I'm in line with, because if it says that 44 inch is 224 inches, that means the 49 inch is probably 227 inches. And for me, 227 inches might be a bit overkill on my table.
Right.
Yeah. So either way, and then what's the final one?
The final one is 40 full HD 1080p.
That's gross.
Yeah, that's
for me.
It's not gross. That seems more like a TV display than it is a gaming display.
Well, I mean, I have a 40-inch 4K, and it's
I wouldn't buy a
1080p
at that size. But then we have AU Optronics over here. There were some interesting ones. Where was it? The one that you wanted to see. 4K IPS 144 hertz supporting HDR.
Yeah,
that's going to be nice.
Look,
expecting to go into production Q3 2017.
Yeah. I could see myself picking up the double 24.7 if the price was right, and completely replace my 223 inches.
That's true. I want to know what you guys have. What type of monitor setup do you guys have? Are you mostly on one single monitor? And if so, what resolution?
Not only that, 3 things. What monitor setup, what resolution, and what is your usage for it? Because at the end of the day, there's some people that are like...
I have 2 monitors for bragging rights.
I have 2 monitors because it looks cool. I have 2 monitors because of productivity. I have 2 monitors because I'm a graphic designer. Those are 3 different things.
Right.
So let us know. And if it's a mixed configuration, like I know some people that use a 40-inch for some random reason and then like 2 24s on their side.
Yeah.
Like just let us know.
Give us some
what
deets on your setup. Okay, so just looking at some of the comments, somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me.
The
what
30
am I looking
hours
for?
in the car involved a lot of singing.
Oh my gosh, what was I looking for? Okay, somebody said that VA is the one you want, TN is bad, and VA is fine, it's TN to avoid. And I actually disagree with that, but then somebody else said some TN panels are close to IPS.
In recent times.
I disagree with that as well.
Why?
I think it's not either. I think TN is not something to avoid, but it's not IPS. There are very clear differences.
Depends on your usage case.
So as far as color reproduction, I think TN can get close to IPS. As far as viewing angles, not even close.
Okay. If you're just gonna game and your monitor's just gonna be in front of you,
Or
TN
even
can
with
be fine.
even with video editing, like having my TN panel sitting straight in front of me like this is the perfect use case for it. But if I try to curve it at all, it's off. Okay, surround gaming, Samsung 32-inch and two Dell
There we go.
19-inch
That's
portraits.
kind of what I was talking about.
A CRT monitor. Actually, you know what? CRT monitors usually have really high DPI.
DPI.
PPI, pixels per inch. Sorry,
Sure.
not DPI. Pixels per inch. My bad. I had a, I think it was like a
I had
20.
a 2048 by 1536 21-inch.
Mine was higher than that. It went up to like 1800 on the height, but it was like 24 inches. The thing was so massive.
Yeah.
It probably
I had
weighed,
one that was more than this table.
basically.
And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was, I still had it when I was playing. I think we've discussed this. I played Fallout 3, and I still made the joke that it's like the game's giving me radiation because it probably really was.
Yeah. 1680 by 1200. I haven't even heard of that resolution type. 1680 by 1200? I've heard of
1680 by 1050.
no 1600 by 1600 by 900. Yeah, 1680 by 1050.
Yeah, that's old.
That's strange. Okay.
No, maybe he's even got it wrong because to be honest, 1680. Like
What
it was-
aspect ratio
it was
would that be?
1920 by 1200 was 16 by 10, and 1680 by 1050 was 16 by 10. So it's like he's kind of got it in the middle for some reason.
Yeah.
768p. This is so. Just quickly to discuss.
Okay.
Something that I've hated for years is when like notebooks come with 768p displays. Like it's so bad. It's like it's so impractical for any form of productivity whatsoever. Like even though the size is small, like the DPI is fine in a
PPI.
15-inch, fine. The
Pixels per inch.
The pixels per inch in terms of 15-inch 768p is probably the same as like a 1080p 23-inch.
Right.
It's still pixels count, man.
Yeah. Okay. What else? A 21 by 9, 2560 by 1080. Yeah, you couldn't afford high resolution, but honestly, I'd rather buy two monitors.
Yeah, I would not have a 29-inch 21 by 9 1080p stretched before I have two 1080ps.
27-inch 1080p gaming, and then somebody else said 27-inch 1080 is the way to go. I disagree.
No, for me,
can't.
24-inch is the extreme of 1080p. So the reason I went to 23 inches, I had 24,
Yeah.
and I can't handle the PPI.
Is it?
I need to go 23 inch, otherwise it's like, it's just too much for me. Like,
Well,
I had a 27
It
inch.
also it depends on how far away the display is from your eyes.
I guess, like, my girlfriend literally has her screens there.
Okay.
Like the furthest away. For her, a 27-inch 1080p would probably be like, it looks great.
Yeah.
Whereas like I usually use monitors probably like this distance away.
Okay.
And I had a 27-inch 1080p, hated the thing, got rid of it the same day.
Yeah.
Literally my friend scored because he wanted to buy one, so I was like, pay me off monthly, it's yours today.
Okay.
And then I got a 24-inch and I couldn't stand it either, and then I got two 23 inches, and since then I've been happy. But
Yeah.
it's like I've used 27-inch 1440p and 28-inch 4K, and for me that's where it's at. Like 1440p 27 is my sweet spot
Okay.
in terms of res and size.
Yeah, you have a hard time with my 28-inch 4K with
I can't read it.
with no display scaling.
Yes.
So I have my display scaling at 100%. So basically, it doesn't scale anything up at all at 28 inches
But-
4K. I can see perfectly. He can't see squat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would not have that at a 1080p resolution.
And even so like someone's got a 1440p 32-inch.
That's okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's an old Dell one. I remember like those selling quite well.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's like I wouldn't game at 32 inches at 16 by 9 because that's too big.
Yeah.
It's like it depends on the games you play. If it's FPS, you're kind of generally only focusing on like the focal point anyway.
Yeah.
And this is just peripheral vision. But if you're playing Dota and it's like a 32-inch or 40-inch, I have a friend that plays a 40-inch here.
Okay.
It's like map, game, spells. It's just like, no.
Okay.
I can't do that.
All right. Well, let's get into another article that has to deal with dope monitors. So I'll pull up the monitor portion of this article first before I switch the screens. So speaking of dope monitor setups, Asus ROG Swift PG27 VQ lights quantum dots on a curve. So it has an 1800R curvature with 165 hertz refresh rate.
Mental.
27-inch G-Sync quantum dot 1440p. Oh my goodness,
So
this monitor.
for me, that is like Except, okay, I have only one gripe with it.
Okay.
Only one.
What's your gripe?
My least favorite color on this planet is orange. And it's like
Okay.
that orange at the bottom.
It's not orange. It's plasma copper.
Whatever. It's my least favorite color.
Okay, I can
But
see.
I would
the
I'd
thing,
deal with it.
The thing that I want to know is this promotional material right here, or is this going to be Asus Aura lighting on the back of the monitor?
That could
if
be
it
cool
is,
because of like against your
oh
wall.
yes,
Against your wall, it'd be
yes. Oh, that's true. I wasn't
Yeah.
even thinking about that because I was just like, RGB on the back of the monitor
No, I
is
think
the
it's cool.
dumbest thing ever. They should
It's
have
cool.
it down here at this little base station, but if it's lighting on the back of your wall,
Yeah, that's epic.
that's
So
great. So
my-
I have windows, and so like my light just bleeds out into the darkness.
For me, I have a white wall right behind both of my monitors,
Okay.
and it's like I had an
That
LED
would
strip
look
at the
nice.
bottom.
That
It'd be
would
cool.
look nice.
So my only thing is like changing the aesthetics of the bottom would be cool, but at the same time, I know that's ROG's thing.
Yeah.
That aside, the fact that it has G-Sync and I've got an NVIDIA card and the
Frameless design. Like this
It's
is basically
pretty.
all of the ROG Swift monitors that are.
this looks
usually
like
really
my Dell.
good.
Minus the stand,
Dell.
that looks exactly like my Dell monitor in terms of the aesthetic,
Okay.
which is the reason I went for it.
Decent curve. Looks like a basic ROG Swift monitor, except
No.
for it just has quantum dot,
Quantum.
1440p 165 hertz refresh rate G-Sync.
Imagine having two of those next to each other.
That would be
That would be
insane. I
beautiful.
couldn't even do that. I couldn't appreciate this monitor for what it is.
Well, here's the thing. There's always the argument of, should I get a 1440p monitor or should I get a 144 hertz monitor? Get both. At the same time. Job's done. Then you don't
Yeah.
have to argue. And then it's like, someone's going to be like, well, there's no game that I can... Doesn't matter. You can choose. You can choose to have high refresh rate, lower res. You can choose to have higher res, lower refresh rate.
That's true, and
You'll-
just use them in
yeah.
different scenarios.
Yeah, like, you want to do design, 1440p. You want a game, 1080p.
Okay, somebody said 165 hertz isn't crazy anymore. 240 hertz is the new thing. Show me a display that has 240 hertz on 1440p.
Yep.
It doesn't exist. 165 hertz is the highest you can go in 1440p. Asus already has 165 hertz 1440p monitors. This is just quantum dot, which is really
Well,
nice.
I could totally see someone playing CSGO, low graphics, high res, high refresh rate. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because like I know there's the guys that play
Okay.
like 640 by 480 and 4:3 aspect ratio stretched and 60. Like that's not me.
Right.
Like I can't handle that kind of thing. But like I go for the highest resolution possible. But I understand lowering the graphical settings equals higher frame rate.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about higher frame rate. Good segue there, Brett. Why, thank you, Byron. Okay, so higher
What's
FPS.
next? Oh,
A first
okay.
peek at the Poseidon GeForce GTX 1080 Ti, the liquid cooled, liquid
Hybrid.
and air hybrid GPU that they had of the 980 Ti.
Which
and
is
now
right
they're-
here, right?
No, we
Troll.
don't want to stop it. So I really like the aesthetic of this card. This black and I guess like gunmetal basically. Just
It's pretty.
It's a very simple design. I like it. Out of
think-
any manufacturer that has nailed the current generation of the way GPUs look,
Asus.
it would
yeah.
be Asus.
I
But
guess.
then on the opposite spectrum, Galax has also done it right with the white. Like you can, if you want like a darker theme, Asus all the way. But if you want like a bright white theme,
think-
like it's hard to choose anybody. Go ahead.
I could disagree to
Of
a
course
slight.
you could.
Yeah, I could
You're
disagree
Byron.
about everything.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the safest option, Asus has that right now. In terms of you can put it in almost any build and it could work. Because what
Are
I'm
you
getting
talking
at,
about black?
yeah,
Yeah.
but-
White would have to be a chosen design.
No,
scheme.
not
What are
even.
you talking about then?
What I'm getting at is like, okay, of all the brands right now, some of them might not be as aesthetically pleasing in any build, but I could totally see them fitting in a specific build.
Right.
So it's like MSI's red could fit in a red themed PC.
Yes.
Gigabyte's orange could fit in an orange themed PC.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
It's like some people love Gigabyte's look. I'm not a fan of it, even though I have one right now.
Yeah.
But it's like I could see it fitting in the right build. Asus is the most safe that it's like no matter what your system looks like right now, you could put it in and like make it look good. That's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And RGB.
Yeah, so speaking of the RGB, they're going to have an infinity window on the top right over here, just kind of like the
There's like inwinds.
the
Oh, it
yeah,
even
so
says-
Inwind ROG certified 805i chassis. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, that infinity mirror type, which is basically just like a row of LEDs with a
I like
mirror
it.
inside. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to look at. This is going to be a beautiful card.
They should make a SLI bridge like that.
Like with the infinity?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That'd be so sick.
That would.
Asus do it.
Please. Oh man.
That'd be very
I'd
cool.
get myself
But I think the
elevated.
thing that I appreciate the most is
Yeah.
it's like so when we did the like I had an Asus 980 reference.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep the aesthetics of the card, and I
Right.
wanted to be able to use it without water, but mod it to have water.
Yeah.
That does it.
Right.
It would if this was out, we probably would have tried to source that instead of using my card.
We did try to source the 980 Ti Poseidon. They told us no.
Yeah.
So that happens.
that happened.
That was a situation. They told
I
us no.
guess. But you weren't as big back then. Brent.
Yeah, whatever. Let's not even get into
not
that.
go there.
All right. Then they also have a very beautiful looking 10 gigabit NIC. Oh my gosh.
Network interface card.
Okay, so this is the biggest issue that I have with Asus's stuff outside of like Strix.
Okay.
The pronunciation of things is so like not
That's true.
normal.
Spatha.
Like the Spatha, the Sparta,
Sparta, Spartan.
the Sika mouse, Sika.
Psychopath?
How do you Byron? How do you say that? Arion.
Arayon.
I don't even know.
That's
Or
true.
this one, the ROG Pugio, Puggy.
Pugio.
Pure.
Yeah, let's not call
It's
it that too long.
pure.
But I agree.
I'm just like
they're trying to be cool, but it's not working.
You can make this look beautiful. Please give me a simple name that I can
You know,
pronounce in my videos because I have to say these things.
I would actually be like, it's the A220, and I'd be fine with that. Like they
Fair
could
enough.
call it the A10G because
Yes.
it's like Logitech is fine with that. Logitech's like the G302 or whatever, and people are like it's fine. They love it, man.
Yeah.
That's true. Anyway, go back to it though.
Okay, I'm going back. I'm not even on the article, so nobody has any idea what we've been talking about. But this thing, the Orion, the 10
10 gigabit network interface card, whatever. It's cool that it has 10 gigabit Ethernet, but there's the other like end of this that it's like, show me an affordable 5 or 8 port switch that supports 10 gigabit Ethernet. None.
Right.
So it's like having one of those technologies beforehand where it's like it's not really useful
Direct
right now.
connection to your NAS, I guess,
No.
because you can't. You'd have to go through a switch.
Yeah, and like even the NASs that have 10 gigabit, it's
Yeah.
fiber.
Uh,
It's fiber interface. Even so I've got a 10 gigabit Ethernet switch, which
Yeah.
is like a layer 3 switch or whatever, but it's fiber.
right.
So that's cool in theory, but I have no use for it, and that's what sucks right now.
Yeah.
Although if you had 2 PCs and only those 2 PCs were connected to each other, you could do a direct link.
Right.
Like that's maybe a better scenario.
Or you have this as your
media PC,
you have this as your expansion card, and you have your dedicated Ethernet on the motherboard hooked up to your like actual internet, and then you have these direct linked to each other, but you have to buy 2 of those.
Maybe.
Okay, moving on.
It's cool for the future.
And then you like this mouse.
Yeah.
I guarantee you I will not like this mouse as far as like my form factor.
Yeah, I'm used to small form factor mouse, not too much going on with them, like the rats and that we actually going to speak about just now. And like I like that it's like the way they've done the RGB around the edges or whatever.
That's cool.
I
Yeah,
like it because it's
looks
like
cool.
you're gonna see it.
Right.
Because where the ROG logo is, my
Your
hand's
hands
gonna cover it no matter
every
what.
single time.
Yeah,
Every
and it's
single
like
time.
just having that RGB strip at the bottom at night, it's gonna be quite
Yeah.
cool, like illuminating against your mouse pad.
So it's ambidextrous, but a magnetic cover shield is the other side of the button, so you're not
to
going to
make
be
it-
accidentally clicking things. So 7200 DPI resolution, Omron switches,
I
basically just an...
I would love to try one. I think it looks cool enough. I think it's the form factor that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Because my favorite mouse in the market right now is the Logitech G403 Prodigy,
Okay.
which is a pretty small form factor
Right.
mouse.
Yeah. No, I love the Spatha because it's
Yeah.
just like...
Huge. And like for me, I can't do that.
I absolutely... Like, he's like, you
It's-
can't even pick up that
I
mouse.
can't.
And I'm just like...
Even
am
the
thinking
what's the
of
one I
this
gave
mouse.
you recently?
The Scimitar Pro.
The Scimitar Pro. Like I'm like
It's
Like, I
hard,
can't
it's
do
hard
it.
with baby hands.
whatever. Delicate.
Okay, so that's it for the ROG news on that website. But speaking of ROG, let's take an adventure into some unboxing territory. So Byron, could I actually have you set up the webcam on that
Sure.
while I get
Can you
the...
pass it to me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There you go. Here you go. There's a webcam. There's a webcam for you. So we have to unbox for you guys today the Strix GTX 1080 Ti OC graphics card, as well as... Okay, like you guys are going to see why I'm struggling. Freaking this not one hand pickup, the Maximus 9 Extreme motherboard. This is for KB Lake. It's a Z270 board. I'm going to put that back down before it breaks my arm. Oh my
That
gosh,
thing is
that hurt.
pretty heavy.
That hurt. Okay, that's not one-handed operation whatsoever. I'm just gonna
I'm
pull
gonna
up
move.
the chat so that
I'm
we
gonna
can see
move
it.
this a bit back.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, I'm just pulling up the chat while we can see it. So you're. I guess I can open it up like this on the main camera right now.
Yeah.
Which side do I want to do? Let me do this side.
Should I read the?
Go ahead,
things
Byron.
that no one ever
Read
cares
it.
about?
Read it. Read the things on the box while I open it.
Okay. Best in. No, I'm joking. What does it have? What does it have? Okay, so it's 11 gigs of GDDR5X, which is semi cringeworthy that it has 11.
That's not Ace's
It like
fault.
it kills my OCD, but it's not Ace's fault.
Okay.
11 gigabits per
Now you won't have any
second.
more time.
And yes, let's just show them.
Okay, so the Strix just opens like that. Job's done. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay, so it opens like that. You get this like nice little neat thing
I'm gonna
right
move this
there.
out of the way. We're not gonna use it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to use that. That's the camera's fine. Ooh, Ace. Oh my gosh, I almost dropped it. Ace's speed setup with the driver CDs. Whatever.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So you know when someone does an unboxing, it's like, and it has a quick start guide. Throw. Like, what's your opinion of that?
So
like
it depends on the product. For a graphics card,
Yeah.
absolutely chuck it.
Well, it's like my brother. Like my brother was just like, how can you throw the quick start guide? That's like so disrespectful. I'm like, but no one reads it.
What do you need it for? The drivers are already outdated.
Yeah.
Okay. Does this smell funny to you?
This smells like petrol. It smells like petrol or diesel.
It's strange. Okay, let's not even. That's
not what you
the
do in
point.
an
Yeah,
unboxing.
That's not what you
Are we
do.
gonna
on an
taste it
unboxing.
next? It's not Nintendo. Don't do it.
Okay. Okay. Then you get a dual 6-pin to 8-pin with some like red and black cables. They're not sleeved.
We'll just put it on the ground.
And then you get some cable Velcro straps, hook and loop straps. Republic of Gamer. There you go.
That's useful.
That is useful. There we are. Then let's pull that baby. Anything under? Nothing under. Empty box. So this everything I've noticed of 1080 Ti's, like of the add-in board partner cards, they're all bigger. Like they have the same aesthetic.
Stickers asking
No
about
stickers!
Stickers, yeah.
No stickers! No, that's apparently only for motherboards they give you stickers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a
Okay.
Razer product where it's like there's more stickers than product.
Look at that heatsink. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious.
Sure, like where they can actually see it. Now.
That is like one. Okay, so this looks like a typical Strix 10 series card. That does not. They added this GeForce GTX thing right here because it is so massive.
Is this more than 2 slots? Yes, it is.
Barely,
No,
barely,
but you
barely.
won't be able to put 2
Yeah,
directly
so
connected.
it's like 2 and a quarter. 2 and a quarter.
This reminds me of the DirectCU 2 cards back in the day that were 3 slots.
Yeah, I think this is DirectCU 3 here. You read that. Why don't you find out what the base and boost clocks are on this? Okay, is that even on there?
Probably not.
Why would they not include that on the back of the box? I'll pull it up. What are the base and boost clocks of this GTX 1080 Ti? Strix 1080 Ti
It's the OC edition,
Yeah, OC. That should. So Strix usually has the regular and then the OC where it's just a difference in the clocks that it's going to deliver to you. But honestly, from my perspective, usually you can overclock the difference.
What GPU had that header for Aura and stuff? Wasn't it this as well?
No, not Aura, but for fans. So okay, now this does have an RGB header
epic.
right here.
That's epic. You know why?
Tell me why.
Connect that to your stock cooler of your Ryzen 7.
Yes, and I can absolutely keep it in color coordination. Okay, so this.
That's super cool.
So the stock clock is. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to read. 1594, and then on the boost clock it's 1708. But from what I've heard, you can get these things up to $2,000.
$2,000.
2,000 megahertz.
You just said grand.
2,000. $2,000. Grand.
Okay, true.
How do you not know
well,
that
in South
language?
Africa, it's like saying
Oh my gosh.
2,000 rand.
Yeah, this isn't 2.5 slots. This is like 2 1/4. So this has 2 of the
It's still
PWM fan
using
headers at
more
the
than
bottom.
2, which means you can't directly connect 2 where in terms of like your PCI Express lanes are only 2 apart.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So we have 2 PWM fan headers here. You have the RGB header right there.
Yeah.
Then you have this like honestly ugly cabling right there. Like I don't remember seeing that on any of the other Strix cards.
That is a bit dumb.
That looks pretty bad. But it might be due to the size.
I like the fact that there's the Aura like actual connection on there. I know that's something that's like other people wouldn't care about, but for me, it's pretty cool.
Then you have the backplate with the illuminated
Which is pretty.
ROG eye, absolutely. Then you have the illumination that goes on here on the front, and
Apparently
then
there's audio sync lag.
audio sync lag. That's not okay. That's not okay. Can you tell us how much it is? Here, we'll clap, and you guys tell us how much we should delay it by. Okay.
Is it like easily? Yeah, it's quite easy to remove the shroud as well. Check. It's just normal like Phillips head.
Give it back. Give it back.
I'm taking this home.
Give it to me. Okay. Yeah.
So performance increase of a 1080 Ti versus a 1080.
35% is the basic idea. So this should be about 35% of the Strix 1080 OC edition.
But not the performance of two 1070s.
I have no idea.
Because in the past that was the case with TIs.
Sure. And then it has dual 8-pin up at the top. 0.2 seconds. Okay. So we're going to, let's delay the audio by that and see how it goes. All right. I'm going to clap again for you guys. Oh, the video froze. The video froze while I did the audio sync thing. Okay. You guys tell us.
Loud.
All right. Then it just has protectors on the PCI Express slots and the display connections.
I'm going to put it down.
You're going to put it down? Okay. You put it
In my bag.
Here.
I'm going to put it in my bag, and I'm going to leave right now. Sorry, guys.
That would not be cool.
No need for B-roll
Not
ever
cool.
again.
Not cool.
I'm just here for this.
Okay, this is not something you're supposed to pick up one hand. So here we have the Maximus 9 Extreme Z270 motherboard. There it is. All right, let's open this puppy up. Republic of Cameras. And you have this little doohickey right there.
Did you buy this stuff?
I did not. This is review sample stock. Okay. So there's the motherboard. Let me pull that out. Byron, you want to hold the motherboard while I get to the main feature? So there's this.
The main feature. This is the main feature.
That is not the main feature of this motherboard.
What?
Because if that was the main feature of the motherboard, you would just buy another Maximus 9.
That's true.
Okay. So here's the
stickers.
This is the main feature of the motherboard. Stickers. Stickers out to wazoo. No. Okay, so let's go over that before I get to the main feature. Okay, so this, just like the Maximus 9 formula and a couple of the others, you have the built-in backplate right there.
I like that.
Then we also have the 4 RAM slots. But here's the interesting thing.
How many USB ports? That's not a
lot. You have 4, 6, 3.0, 1 3.1 Type A, and 1 3.1 Type C.
I guess it's enough.
It's okay. That's enough.
Yeah.
Oh, so with these audio ports right here, they're RGB LEDs.
And it has a clear BIOS button. That's
Yes, and then it also has Wi-Fi, has DisplayPort, HDMI out.
And clear CMOS. Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Because it's like always having to
Okay,
move your
actually, I
GPU.
don't know if these are RGB LEDs or just LEDs.
Okay.
They're color-coordinated LEDs, to let you know. So one of the things that I noticed about the DIMM slots, it's not full, like steel-plated, like the PCI Express bracket is. It's just
Reinforced in the middle.
Reinforced in the middle, right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right there, it's reinforced in the middle. Then you have 4 connections for radiator fans up top, right there. 4, and then you have 4 more down at the bottom right there. So why would there be connections for radiator fans? I wonder, what type of board could this be? All right, then you have RGB header up top. You have an 8-pin plus a 4-pin up top as well.
Is this a review?
This is a review unit.
I'm saying, is this a review you're doing right now?
No, this is an overview of the board. We're unboxing it and taking a look at it. There's a Molex
Does it
connection.
require that?
There's
The
a
Molex
Molex connection down at the bottom. There's a reason for it. I'm actually not.
Find out later.
It has to do with overclocking, which I'm not even like external fan
M.2s?
port.
How many M.2?
Has an M.2 right there, and then it also has an M.2 under this cover right there.
Okay.
I don't even know the price of the board in RAND because I haven't seen it displayed at any retailer so far. I actually haven't even seen an unboxing on YouTube of this board. I searched today, and Tiny Tom Logan doesn't have an unboxing, which means that it's not on the internet.
Well, it's
Because if OC3D does not have an Asus product out, that means it hasn't happened yet.
That's true.
Okay, and then USB 3.1 Type-C, bunch of fan connections, reinforced PCI Express 3.0 slots.
Do they still have that SATA Express? Have they completely got rid of that?
Yeah, SATA Express
Yeah.
is dead. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about with this board, do you? No? Okay.
What goes there?
A CPU. There's a CPU that goes there. Okay, so let's put this in its like boxy thing right over here. Just you sit right there. Okay. Main feature time. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is still heavy and the motherboard is not in there. Okay. Byron, can you help me by holding the flap open? Hold the flap open. All right, so this box comes out entirely. Okay, now put the flap down. Move the flap out of here. Okay. This flap opens up. Okay. Flapping open. This. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
The CPU bits power monoblock that goes on the CPU. Like this thing is really cool. So it has the Asus Aura LED lights built in. It also has a flow meter in there. It also has leak detection on the outside.
Can you buy that by itself?
I don't know yet.
That would be amazing.
So it has leak detection on the outside, and then it also has incoming and outgoing temperature monitoring. Like this is a legit
Dude, imagine buying
monoblock.
Imagine buying one of like those Strix E's or whatever, those boards.
Oh, for sure.
So
For sure. So this covers both the CPU as well as the VRMs around the CPU as well, because as you can see on the board, there's no cooling around the VRMs. So that mono block is right there. But that's not the only block they have. You also have this M.2 block, which connects into the mono block. Where's the... Okay, yeah, I guess it just says Strix. So that connects onto the M.2 because M.2s get freaking hot, like 95 degrees Celsius. You definitely need to water cool these. But on other boards where they have M.2 cooling solutions, yeah, on other boards where they have M.2 cooling solutions, they're like this little piece of like thin metal, and they actually increase the heat retained by the NVMe drive.
Is this not just a heatsink? Wait, how does this?
It actually, you screw it into the bottom of the monoblock. Or you connect it.
So just to
screw it in.
through. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so then we also have the back plates for the block itself. You have a ROG coaster.
That's cool.
Okay. This is the USB with utilities and drivers. That's actually really neat.
What?
A USB. Well done.
Can I open it?
I'm not going to use it, so don't. I don't like to open things on review samples that I'm not going to use.
Did you want to see what it looks like?
It looks like a USB.
What if it's like?
Fine, open it.
I'm opening it.
Jeez. Okay, and then these are the screws I suppose to connect the M.2 block to the mono block. Oh wow. Okay, that's tiny. Okay,
It's cool.
there you go. That's
That's
what that looks
something
like.
I've always wondered. That it's like, why don't GPUs just come with a like 2 gig flash drive with this
Okay,
drivers?
this is for the fan extension card. We'll get to that in a moment. Oh, that fell off. Why did you do that? Okay, so this is a ROG emblem that you can put on your computer.
This doesn't. You know what I like about this is that
What?
you don't have to get those like stickers that you remove to change the aesthetic because it's just black.
That's true. Yeah, it's a very nice looking board. Then you have the user guide. This is temperature monitoring probes. There we go. Cable labels. Very handy.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but Tiny did it a week ago.
No, he did an overview.
Of this,
Yeah,
like just the box.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. But he didn't say unboxing.
Maybe you did.
What? Maybe he did. Whatever. I could be wrong. Okay, 20% off of Cable Mod cables. This is an RGB extension. SATA cable, Wi-Fi adapter. M.2, no, not M.2, 3D print mounting stuff. Look at that. Screws
does this
for
come with,
different plate.
Does this come with antennas as well that are like just directly
That's it.
attachable?
That's it. Yeah. So, but this is magnetic, so this is attaches to whatever you want it to.
PC, then it's
This
fine.
is the M.2 screw, and then this is the external connector to the fan card, which should be under here.
The amount of things in
my
here
gosh.
is crazy.
Well, I'm sure you pay for it. Okay, here is the external fan adapter.
He's not South African. I'm South African. He's American.
Hard bridge.
Someone's awesome.
Hard SLI bridge. ROG. Just basic. So they actually include on their website, for 3D printing, you can 3D print a plate for that. And they include the source material for that, so that you can put it on. So it's a decent looking hard bridge, for sure. It's plain.
It's
plain.
nicer than like the old.
Like it gets the
orange
job done.
Crossfire
But
ones.
they include you can 3D print a plate for it. So there you go. Then they have a CPU installation tool, which I have no
I've
idea.
never used.
I don't even understand.
I don't even know how to use it because I have no need.
More
for it.
SATA cables. More SATA cables, and then this is called the Q connector. I found out what I think it's the Q connector, and this allows you to plug all of the like
All
front.
the things.
You're mixing up the order. I know I have to remember where everything goes back to. You connect all of the front panel I/O to this thing, and then you put it onto the motherboard. Makes it super simple to install. All right, now I have to figure out where everything goes back.
Yeah.
So expect a review incoming on my channel in the next. I can't even give you a timeline at this point because
Probably
I
the
just.
next month at least, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely before the next month is up. But I just received these today, and I'm unboxing it for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. Any questions that I missed? I can't even read.
Comment.
Which one?
Yeah. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you put the USB back and did you
Yeah, I
close
did.
it up? Okay, so that's for that. There's
Or I'm
for
just
that.
saying that and it's in my pocket.
Well, why would you take the USB for drivers? You have a better looking Asus USB.
That's true.
Okay, this goes there. Good
I
enough.
want to know if you can source those things by themselves.
The Bits Power monoblock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna.
It's
ask
legit
Asus.
for sure.
I'll ask Asus tomorrow. Does this just go in here?
Yeah, it just goes on flat. So one of the things that I do like on the higher end Maximus boards is the what am I trying to say? The included I/O shield. Then you don't have to worry about that. Can I have the box, please?
Oh, okay. IO shield, not the IO shroud.
Right. I don't like the shroud. I like the shield
I'm
being
a big
included.
fan of the shroud.
Right.
You're not.
There we go. Right.
Love unboxing with no filters or editing. Yeah.
Yep. And you know what? I can take this off, edit it, and then put it back up on YouTube and just say it's the unboxing.
That's true.
I can use this as 2 videos.
That's true.
I actually probably will, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I don't see why I wouldn't. Because it's a searchable video.
Yeah.
Whereas like it being buried in the middle of B-roll is really good for like all you guys, but it's not really good for like my engagement and like searching. And so like if I can do both, like I want my community to get this first, but then like having it elsewhere is good as well. Okay. Oh man, I'm actually sweating now. That was intense. It was intense. Those are expensive parts. Those are worth a lot of money.
Like the last person I know that would say that. I thought you were just
What?
gonna say it's heavy, not that it's expensive. Because
Very
you've had
expensive?
he has a 120,000 rand laptop.
It's on
It's on the edge of the table.
I know how gravity works and I know how like center of gravity, whatever. Okay, moving on. Did you guys like that unboxing? Would you like us to do more in the future? We have a couple ideas floating around for a segment to include here. So let us know what you guys think of doing that. What?
If we change the way we do this, like we said just before the show,
Yeah.
that's gonna suck for me. I'll speak to them. We'll figure it out.
No. I will actively oppose that.
Then we'll have to have 2 spots, 2 different things.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. But you're not taking my people.
No, I won't take them.
You better not even try to do that.
That will make
okay.
me sad, man.
Okay.
We'll maybe discuss that at the end. But yeah, what do you guys think of the unboxings? Should we do more?
Yeah. Cool. All right.
We still have some more articles. We just
Just a few more.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next article is just like a what the heck is going on. So it's translated from Mandarin to English. Basically, it's on what's the website called? Benchlife. Benchlife.info. They've been used for like rumors and leaks before. They've been reliable in the past, but obviously with any rumor site they can't be 100%. So Skylake Workstation expected to be released with the X299 stuff coming on at Computex, are releasing 3 different SKUs as far as we can tell, with a 10-core variant, a 4-core variant, and a 6-core variant. So that sounds okay, 4, 6, and 10 cores. Like nothing seems out of the normal there until you read a little down on these little, what's this called? A chart? Is this a chart? This is a chart.
I just thought of something, but just keep
My
going.
my brain is
going.
is breaking right now. Okay, so each of them has 140 watt TDP. A 4-core CPU has 140 watt TDP. We're getting into like AMD FX numbers here. All right, and then we look a little bit further down. This 4-core 140 watt TDP that only supports 2133 megahertz DDR4 memory doesn't have Intel's Turbo Boost or hyperthreading.
Brett,
Yes,
there's no way that it says these are not Xeons.
but why would it be 140 watts? Answer me that. Why would a 4-core Xeon with no hyperthreading or Turbo Boost have 140 watt TDP?
5 gigahertz.
That's not 140 watt TDP. No chance. What's the TDP of the 7600K? 91 watts?
But when overclocked to 5 gigahertz?
I don't think it's gonna. No, that doesn't even seem to make sense. So I did some reading around on forums just to make sure, like, is there something we're missing here? And basically, it's just like, no, this is what it says. It makes no sense. Why is this even a leak right now? Because it just doesn't like.
Because workstation has generally been Xeons before, right? And Xeons have even currently had
So yes,
4-core
this is supposed to be
configurations.
released alongside Skylake X, Kaby Lake X, and Skylake W. It's the
Yeah.
workstation. So yes,
It's
going
probably
to.
Xeons.
But why is it 140 watt TDP?
That is confusing. Because not the question of why is it
And
only
when
a
has
4?
when has a Xeon ever been a high clock?
It hasn't.
That would be Skylake X, not
what you're
Skylake W.
Look, what you're not saying that
Yeah.
people were saying earlier is like,
Tell
oh,
me.
these are going to be the next i7s and that, then which clearly they're not.
No, this is supposed to be released alongside in the LGA 2066 socket. So this is not going to be LGA 1151. This is not replacing the 7600K. This is a different market entirely. And it's just a
But there's
really
already-
it's a confusing leak.
You know
There's
what?
not much more to talk
They
about.
can't
It's
be
just-
Xeons. They can't be Xeons because there's already Kaby Lake Xeons.
Okay, so what are they and why is this happening? This doesn't even make sense. It's a leak. You guys take this for what you want. If we happen to talk about this again in June,
Cooling?
we'll say that we talked about it here now.
Cooling?
Why would they
The
include?
included cooler might be something quite intense.
They don't include coolers on the X99 platform.
But they do with Xeons. And Xeons in the past used to have these
But
ridiculous
this
coolers.
isn't Xeons. This is
It's still
X299.
possible.
This is X299. This is not Xeon.
But you did get X99 Xeon platform. You did get 1366 and that kind of thing going forward.
I understand, but in recent years, X99, 6800K, 6850K, 6900K, none of them come with coolers.
It's possible.
It doesn't make sense.
You know what? I'm saying right now, my thing, it's a Xeon, it's a quad core, it comes with a ridiculous cooler.
But why?
Because people aren't going to overclock it in a workstation for 24/7 usage. You want it to be cool, like that it's not going to ever get damaged. So therefore,
But why does that have 140 watt TDP?
because
the likelihood of it.
because it's a 140 watt cooler.
No, that doesn't make any sense because the 65 watt R7 Ryzen 7 1700 is a 65 watt TDP with a 95 watt cooler.
Yeah.
And they call it 65 watt. Okay, moving on.
We'll
can't
find out soon.
We can't figure
We'll find
that
out
out.
soon.
Okay, let's pull up this personal rig. So this guy, I can't say his name because apparently it's an Afrikaans pronunciation.
Kelly?
Callie?
Callie?
I don't even know. I tried to say Callie and I was told I was wrong. Okay, so that's a Mastercase Pro.
5.
Yes. Is that custom like colored
It
or
looks
did
like
they
it's
sell
the
it
front.
like that?
Nope.
Okay.
I think he sprayed the front. and
Okay,
the top.
so like all whites. Or maybe he bought it on the mod store?
Hold
Okay.
on, didn't it? Oh, no, never mind.
Windforce. What?
He removed
There's no
the black,
specs.
He removed the black shroud at the bottom. Like, no, it's not a shroud, but it's like attached to the perspex. Where there's
Okay.
that like black area so you can't see at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
That's nice. That's nice. And then is that White Fury? Bro, you need to give us specs alongside your pick, or else we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what's going on if you don't tell us what's going on. We can only look at it and say it's pretty. That's a Windforce card. That's a Cooler Master case. You have a Corsair cooler. I don't know much besides that. Okay, cool. You get back to us on all of those specs. We're gonna move on to the article. Mad Catz files for bankruptcy. So the rat mouse is dead.
I'm so happy.
Dead.
I am so happy about
Death
this
has
because so it's like, you know, one of those things where it's like you get those fanboy friends of yours that argue
You're
about
happy
something.
that a company is closing down and people are losing their jobs? Where's your sense of humanity, Byron?
Would you be happy if a company that made nuclear warheads closed down?
This is a peripheral.
I don't care.
That escalated far too quickly.
It's still the same thing.
It's not at all the same thing.
Well, if
My
it's a terrible
goodness.
peripheral and it's overpriced. Okay, let me justify. Not even justify. Let me explain.
Let's
So-
Byron explain why he
You know, when
is desensitized to people not having money.
You know when you get those friends of yours that tell you a product is good even though it's bad because they're like an ultra fanboy of it, where it's like, no, an RX 460 can run everything, and it's like, no.
It's a Radeon GPU. It radiates on the graphics.
It's like, it's red, thus it's faster. That kind of argument.
It looks like a
okay?
dragon, so that means it's fast.
Indeed. Now, like, for years, I've had like 2 or 3 friends that are like, the Rat mice are the best mice ever, and they're so customizable, and they're so comfortable, and they're just so, and like, leet, and it's just like, I feel this thing, it feels terrible, it's plastic, it's bad, its sensor's terrible. Everything about the Rat 357 whatever have been the worst mice I've ever used, and they are so overpriced, and I've for years, like I can date this back to probably like Rage 2011. A friend of mine bought the wireless one, and I was just like, this thing is so bad, you've wasted your money. And it's like, I can't handle it. It's just, oh no, it's so cool. And I'm like, dude, cool on a peripheral matters not when you need to use it. It's like, you can have a cool case.
Oh, stop it.
Look,
Stop
I know
it.
I'm going overboard
yeah,
with
way
this,
too
but like,
overboard.
I have hated this company for
Oh my gosh.
years.
Okay, it's fine to hate the company, but at least have some sympathy for the fact that these people
You know
don't
what?
have
No,
jobs.
because the people that work there should have known.
No, man. No.
They should have known when they released that mouse at
Do,
12,000.
should we talk about what you did in your days at that one company? Should
No.
We okay, so should I then feel bad for you when you lose your job because the company shuts down? Yes. Yes, because they are doing what their bosses are telling them to.
You know what? Not even.
Oh my
Because what
gosh,
you're
get
trying
outta
to
here.
mention, I even left that company for that reason.
But not before you did some shady things.
No,
That
I
your-
didn't. I
That your
didn't.
boss asked you to. Things that you were
I didn't do
uncomfortable
them.
with.
That's the thing.
You did some of them. Okay.
This
regardless.
making it sound worse than it is. Anyway, end of the day.
Okay, in February 2016, they laid off roughly 1/3 of their staff. And then today, which was 4 days ago,
To try to save money.
they filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So, Rat Mouse.
For me,
mice
these mice
are
were never
gone.
competitive at their price point.
No chance.
Especially considering like the mouse you reviewed last week,
The Harpoon.
the Harpoon,
Yeah.
like is better than the highest end Rat in my opinion.
Sure. For you personally, that's fine. That's fine.
And I know anyone's welcome to argue, and you're probably right. I'm probably wrong, but I hate them.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next
Yeah,
article.
that mouse, that one was 4,000.
Let's talk about something that you're happy about. Okay, let's Telltale Games Guardians of the Galaxy
not
episode
even.
1 released. Then why did you put it in the article list?
Some people care. For me,
Okay.
I don't like Telltale games, but that's even an unfair
What
thing to
the
say.
heck? Why did you include it? I don't play these games. I thought you had some vested interest in this.
Because we both like Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was an okay movie.
What? Just okay? You
Yeah.
liked it. We spoke about it the other day.
I
And you
like
even
it.
called me Star-Lord in that other thing, man. Like, you know that's from that.
Yeah, no, I understand the reference, but I actually like it's not
Okay,
like,
well, anyway.
it wasn't amazing in my mind.
Well, here's the thing.
was
So, like,
good.
they make... Telltale
Watch.
makes really good games. And there was the
Batman series.
yeah, they make the Batman series and they make Back to the
Minecraft.
Future and they make Minecraft Story Mode. I like Minecraft Story Mode.
Okay.
It's just some of them I get kind of bored in.
Okay.
Like the Walking Dead ones weren't for me. I
Sure.
got bored in them, even though I know they're like critically acclaimed and people love them. What I'm getting back to this is we announced a while ago that Marvel was gonna tie in with the Marvel universe was gonna start bringing out more games than that. Remember?
Right, and Insomniac's supposed to be bringing out the Spider-Man game.
Yeah,
by the
which
end of
is
the
not
year.
coming out this year. They've already announced.
Oh, okay.
There's delays. But
Okay.
what I'm getting at is it's like, this is the form of it. When we
Okay.
were discussing there was going to be a new game. Anyway.
I don't ad block because I like to support the creators who make stuff. Like the reason you can read it for free is because advertisement pays for that article and pays for that person's salary. And so when you ad block, you're actually, I mean, in my estimation, like I feel like I'm not earning that article. Like I'm reading it for free because somebody has to pay for it
Well,
somewhere.
here's the thing: you as a creator who's gonna at some stage in your career rely like mostly on ads
Yeah.
through like your videos.
Right.
If you're the kind of person who's ad blocking other videos, it's like what precedence are you setting that it's like, oh, you guys don't need to support me, but I'm not going to support other people.
Right.
So
I
it's
just,
like-
it's free for a reason. Everything comes at a price. Who's paying the price? If I just have to look at an ad and that's all the price I have to pay in order to get this article, I will do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. My high horse rant is over. All right, next one.
Final article?
Final article, yeah. So the Galaxy S8 coming out April 21st.
Okay. Oh, wait, yeah.
Coming out, it was
True. It
announced
was announced, yeah.
on March 30th. So you have a 5.8 inch on the standard, 6.2 inch on the S8 Plus. The early word is that it will start at $720, which is like $21 more than it usually does. Excuse me.
I
sorry.
think it is beautiful.
It is. It is a gorgeous phone.
And it's even the aspect ratio is further than 2:1. It's
Right.
like there it is 29
Sorry.
29 scroll down, sorry. 2960 by
1440.
1440. So the thing about these phones is with that aspect ratio and with the screens being longer than before, the phones actually take up less space than their competitors at like 5 point something inches.
Right.
I mean, sorry, 6 point something inches.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Even the ones that are like 5.5 inch phones are larger than this 6.2
Because of the
or
screen
whatever,
display.
because of the way they
But
do it.
honestly, it just kind of seems like they updated the S7 Edge and just kind of made
Yeah.
it more like
So-
edgier.
Well, worth mentioning is sure there's an updated CPU and GPU and that kind of thing, which realistically versus the S7, like no real usage case scenario that makes sense. Something that for me is worse is that the fingerprint reader is like in a weird position at the back that like even with Brett's like
It's on the
giant
back?
monkey
Oh, that?
hands you won't be able to press.
Oh no, totally.
Dude, watch MKBHD's video. He's like, it's this long, Brett.
Okay, Byron, my hand can go out to that.
Just watch his
My
video.
hand can do this.
Watch this video.
Okay.
Anyway, it's in an awkward position for almost everyone on the planet except maybe Brett then.
Okay.
And but the front is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the camera is identical to the S7,
Okay.
which is like for Brett the reason he bought his S7 was for the camera for vlogging and that. So is there any need for him to go to the S8? No. Would it be nice? Sure. Like
Bluetooth 5.0?
yeah, first phone in the world with Bluetooth 5.
Okay, that's new.
Yeah, and
I-
USB Type C,
which is new as well.
which is cool.
64 gigs of onboard storage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
4 gigabytes
And
of
it doesn't
RAM.
come in any
Okay.
other configurations.
That's fine.
It's a good thing because
Yeah.
it means the minimum is now 64.
Yes. Yes. Honestly, it's just a really decently spec phone and really beautiful.
So
I see no reason to upgrade myself because I have an S7.
No, my only concern with this, so something I've already like automatically become accustomed to at the moment with my Xperia XC that I'm using is like good battery life.
Yes.
I haven't. So today, before I came to your house, was the first time I charged it since the weekend,
Okay.
and it was working fine.
But,
But look at this though, 3,000 milliamp hour on that display.
and 3,500 milliamp hour
Yeah, so-
on the
so
S8 Plus. So
we
the
need
S8
to-
Plus would be a better value for battery life, it seems
Well,
like.
it's also a bigger screen, so we don't even know. Even though
No,
it's the same
no,
pixels, it's still actual surface area that needs to be illuminated.
No, because it's displaying each individual pixel because it's LED. Light emitting
guess,
diode. You're
yeah,
only
yeah.
powering the ones that are on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, either way,
it should have a better battery life.
we need to see. We need like review samples to come out in the wild and like get reviews on its battery life, because that is the one thing that it's like battery life is usually one of those things that are
Yeah.
kind of like a second, if not like ninth in the list concern. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the phone is developed for this or not.
Right.
You didn't talk about Bixby. Maybe
I
you could
don't
talk
really
about that.
want to talk about Bixby. It
Well-
seems like a dumb name for some AI assistant that I'm never going to use.
There's a dedicated hardware button for it.
That is upsetting.
But now the thing that's kind of cool about
I
it,
want to
that I don't see it
reprogram
using-
that button before I even add it.
You know, you can take a photo of shoes and it'll tell you where it's on special.
I don't buy shoes.
Clearly. I'm joking.
I mean,
No, look,
honestly,
I see
honestly,
people
like,
using it. I see people using
No.
it, but the problem is Google as Assistant's going to do that eventually anyway.
yeah, I can't see myself doing it or using it. Like, I personal assistant technology is just not there for me. It was a cool gimmick when I first got my first Moto X, and it was like I could say "Okay Google" from any screen and search whatever I want,
Well-
and then it's just like, no, I don't care.
You know what I think this kind of phone is for me is where
Tell me, Byron.
from the S3 to the S4,
Sure.
there was a big performance boost and there was a resolution boost. But it's like at the same time there were so many extra gimmicks that were added. And it was like the whole thing where it's like, you know, when it tracks your eyes and you look down and then it scrolls and it's like if you look away the video is paused, and it's like no one I know ever used those features with their S4.
Right.
And like this S8 kind of feels like a resurgence of like the use, like these absolutely not even useful additions, where it's
Okay.
like Bixby and the Retina scanner and because there was someone the other day that apparently at the S8 launch
Yeah.
they took a photo and they unlocked it with a photo,
Wow.
which means the Retina scanner is not actually really doing anything other than processing a photo.
Right.
You know, and it's like that's not what I wanted to hear.
Right.
Like I want the like Minority Report future where it's like your eye goes against the Retina scanner kind of thing.
And
like,
has to actually
you know,
check it
I
out.
want it's not a real Retina scanner using infrared.
Yeah.
It's just looking at a photo and detecting whether or not the photo is like close enough. You know,
Yeah.
so I like the way it looks. I love the way it looks. The camera on the S7 was already good enough. It's just that it's like this phone feels and looks like compared to the S7. How many gimmicks can we throw at this thing?
Yeah.
To try to get more people involved.
I mean, the main selling point is the screen, but then
LG already has it. LG did that like a month ago.
nobody cares about LG.
I guess LG is behind Huawei in what do you call it?
Market share.
Market share. Yeah, I was surprised.
This because like the G5 is like LG and friends. You can buy useless accessories that you're never gonna use.
So a big issue that I've not seen any articles on, but I have two friends that are personally suffering from this. The LG what display technology do they use? Is it SIPS or something?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking
They
about.
actually have like what do you call it? Ghosting.
Okay.
So two of my friends are reporting it now
On
at
the
the
LG?
same time on the LG G5,
Jeez.
where like when they browse the internet too much and then they go do something else, they actually have ghosting on their display.
Wow.
That's pretty bad.
That's
I'm
awful.
waiting for it to like come out in news articles now.
Okay. On the G6 or the G5 you were saying?
5.
Sorry. Well, the G6 is coming out, so it's not.
Oh, there's the
gonna
specs.
be- yeah.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we're done with the S8. I actually just want to address one comment that was in chat before we move on. Chad said, I prefer what Linus Tech Tips does. He incorporates ad into his video at the start and at the end, and it's generally something that would interest the viewer, not a silly tampon ad when watching PC stuff. Yes, that is a great way to go, and that's definitely a great business model, but guess what? His videos also have ads placed by YouTube at the beginning of the videos, too. He does all of it. He makes all of the money that he possibly can.
And at the same time, he has enough concurrent views per month that he can approach companies to do this where you're in the process of doing that now.
Right. Yes, but
Like ad spots on his channel, my opinion, this year guaranteed at some stage, but it's like,
we'll see.
it's still, you're not there yet.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Okay. Moving on to the personal rig by Callie is how I'm going to say his name. R9 390 i5 3470, 16 gig white Fury X RAM, H105 Corsair, Superflower 750 watt power supply. But you got the black one. You didn't get the white one, my friend. Sorry, you got the they have the white one.
I like the way his rig looks there.
No, it definitely does look nice. So
It's clean.
new glass side panel for the case. It was a mod, DIY table built from scratch, and white
Let's look at the
mod
table
outfit
again
filters.
quickly.
Okay,
That's pretty cool.
that's a nice table.
Hey, I actually know those Sony
people-
Explode like
Oh,
what do you call it? The speakers. My brother got that like on his 16th birthday. It was a hi-fi system.
okay. So that's a Gigabyte R9 390. Is that a custom backplate?
I think
That's
it's
not right?
Sony.
Okay.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
but like it's not current. He's using a third gen
Bro,
i5.
bro. Yeah, okay, hold on. Hold your horses there. That was offensive. I'm offended for him.
We
by you.
always discuss the people's specs.
I mean, it depends on what he's playing. Yeah, it might be outdated, but that doesn't mean it's not good enough for him. And R9 390 is still a respectable system.
My Switch is good enough for games on the go like Zelda.
It is for Zelda. Is it good enough for Mass Effect Andromeda? No, because it's not on the Switch. You're making,
I guess.
you're making broad,
Hey,
sweeping strokes.
I don't think it's terrible. I'm just saying,
It's a
like,
good
if he's
system.
going to upgrade
You know
anything,
what?
it's going to be the platform.
But you know what? My thing is, I would rather spend money. Like I'm at the stage now where I would rather spend money customizing my rig than getting better parts.
Because you already have a high-end rig compared to him. What I'm getting at is how much money he spends
His
on a master
GPU is
case.
probably as good as mine.
No. Master Case 5 Pro, $2,500.
Yeah.
Spray paint, another 100 plus another 100 plus another 100, depending.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
so he's almost spent $3,000 just on his. I am an ass, guys. He's already spent like
Come on.
$3,000 on his case.
Watch your language.
He's spent like so much money, and I know personally because of like when I built the desks and stuff that's not a cheap hobby. Okay, like that guy spent so much in the aesthetics. He could have spent it on newer components.
So what if his components are good
He's
enough?
even agreeing.
He's agreeing with White.
Oh, he's just
With
saving me.
No.
I don't know. Look,
No.
for me, it's like it depends. I guess if he's only playing Counter-Strike or whatever, then it's fine. But generally, like when my friends spend so much money on peripherals and aesthetics, and they're running like an i3 or something, I'm like, guys, like you could have just got a better PC.
But you know what? You know what? If it wasn't for this whole tech YouTube thing, I'd still be running my R9 270X.
I wouldn't.
And I would be totally fine, and I'd rather customize that versus upgrading. I don't need a GTX 1060 for what I do.
Your channel has not influenced any of my specs,
That's fine.
and I'm still waiting for performance before aesthetics.
I still have
and
a
then
better
for
rig than you
aesthetics.
do.
Right now.
Exactly. I win on both fronts.
This is a dumb
I
argument.
win on both fronts.
Anyway.
Byron, will
Ask
you...
Byron if he'd make fun of my poor AMD A6 5400K APU, 6 gigs of RAM.
Well, okay, to be fair...
What's your budget?
No,
Because you didn't-
he totally would, but he would make more fun of you if you had spent money on other things. If you don't have any money, like,
Okay,
you don't
wait,
have any money.
Let me mark myself and him at the same time then. If you bought the Rat for 4,000 Rand and you had that system, then I would totally say wrecked.
Yeah. Who got a DX Racer over a better CPU?
Got out.
Don't take any of Byron's advice because he's just a hypocrite.
So one of my friends just commented, I bought a DX Racer before getting a new CPU. It's true, I did. But I was uncomfortable.
But you're constantly complaining about your i5. Constantly. And
Constantly. I complained once and said it can't stream.
you maybe complain once to other people, but I literally hear it at least 3 times a week.
But I told you I'm going Ryzen. I'm waiting.
But you didn't have to because you could have not bought that DX Racer. And what happens if you don't have money for Ryzen? And then we're all going to look back at you being like you're sitting in your
whatever.
pretty chair
You know what? Everyone's
with
allowed
that
to
4-core,
argue.
4-thread CPU.
I'm allowed to have an opinion. I'm allowed to be wrong.
Callie's case was a present. He did not spend the money on the master case. So
Kelly, you should have asked for like a new CPU, my man. Like,
such a punk.
I'm just being a punk. It's a nice looking system. I'm sure it runs the games he wants. Unless like otherwise.
now that I've reamed you for treating my viewers. Like
What
garbage.
screen does he have?
What screen was that? Let's look at that. Looks like a Samsung 23-inch 1080p. If I had to guess.
Which is fine for his system.
Yeah, maybe 24-inch. You can make fun of Brett for being a WWE fan.
You are?
No. I haven't watched WWE since I was in 5th grade.
What's the guy with the channel in South Africa? The guy that he makes gaming videos every day. Today Gaming Hines.
Grant Hines?
No man, the other guy.
Mr.
Yeah. He like ranted on social media today about like how much he is a WWE fan. I think The Undertaker actually like
Quit. He
or
retired.
something
He
today?
retired.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in it for a very long time.
You know, even if you don't watch WWE, you know who the Undertaker
I
is.
did when I was a kid, but not since then.
John Cena.
I actually don't know John Cena. I stopped watching.
Meme-wise, you know him, I'm sure.
I can't see him. I know that much. That's all I know. It's like, oh, there's a floating switch because John Cena's holding it. Or like he apparently proposed to somebody at WrestleMania and it's like, oh, why is there a ring floating in the middle of the stadium? I actually don't know anything about wrestling.
Charlie's waiting for Ryzen 5. That's cool.
Yeah, Ryzen 5 is totally a good buy IMO. Although I haven't touched.
overclocked my 60 hertz monitor to 137. I
experienced this on the MSI GT83 VR Titan.
Okay.
So it's a 60 hertz display.
Yeah.
I overclocked that panel to 200 hertz. Guess what? It still ran at 60 hertz. The NVIDIA control panel that allows you to overclock it doesn't register with the panel itself, but it still allows you to say it's overclocked. He can do it.
I think it's usage case scenario because I know I've pushed those LG monitors of mine to 76 hertz and actually displayed 76 hertz and actually used an online test to see that it's 76 hertz. And beyond that, they just don't work.
Yeah. just because it displays that it's running at that frequency, like
No, but an actual test for it.
yeah, the actual test, like it would go black and then it would refresh and it says it was running at 200 hertz, and I was just like, and then I watched in game and I was like, no, this is 60 hertz. There's no way that it's overclocking that high. There's no chance. Because that was my biggest issue with the GT 83 VR Titan. It's a 1080p display. And I was like, they at least had to make it a high refresh rate model. No, it's 60 hertz. Oh,
Especially it was like a 1080, wasn't it?
it was dual 1080s. And I was like, sure enough, I have to be able to overclock it. And it was like, oh yeah, I can get 75. I can get 100. I can get 100. I can get 200.
You know the Yamasaki Cat Leap monitors? Like, that was the biggest reason to buy those at the time, because they were...
I'm going to call placebo effect.
No, these were.
No, I'm talking.
Yeah,
he says he can see it's much smoother. It's placebo effect. Maybe you're getting a higher refresh rate. You're not getting 137 hertz.
I'd like to say that I don't believe him, but I'm allowed to be wrong. It could be.
I don't trust that.
But you know what?
What?
It's the same as TVs, where people are like, I bought a 400 hertz TV to play games, and Windows does detect it as 400 hertz. And I'm like, you don't actually understand the way this works, because it's displaying.
Well, you can buy a 2 terabyte flash drive off of eBay, and it'll display 2 terabytes of Windows, but it's only like 16 gigabytes.
Because like with TVs, what they do is the TVs actually have technology for what do you call it? If you're playing something natively and it can actually have a frame buffer for it, it creates frames of the information before and after, depending on. So it's kind of like a flash animation where you put a circle here and one there, and then you say like animate over 2 seconds, and it's going to do that.
Yeah.
The same's happening in frames.
Yeah. I cannot speak Dutch, and I cannot speak Afrikaans.
He can say
Beatty
at
heck.
the gate. Yeah.
At the gods.
I don't even know what I was saying now.
R7 1700 plus fire extinguisher equals great GPU. Man, get out of here. No, the R7 1700, the Ryzen 7 1700 is a great CPU.
Maybe FX processors. I mean, we
FX
saw
for sure. We saw them on fire, and somebody's twirling with hands.
Yeah, like
it was amazing.
there was this woman with 2 FX processors on fire, spinning them around. Brett's got a video. Of that,
you had to make oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I can believe you, but I can't believe you. Okay, send it. I want to see it.
What?
The screenshot. I'm sure the screenshot says that it's existing.
Dude, I can Photoshop 7 million hertz.
I don't think he's photoshopping it, but at the same time I don't really trust it. The reason you have an A6 5400K is because you're saving money for a high-end system. Ryzen 7 R7 1700, X370 motherboard, 16 gigs of 3000 megahertz RAM, and a 1080 Ti.
My only thing
that's not going to work.
My only thing I would say to you is just do a little bit of research depending on what board you're doing. Go actually look at what people are using and what RAM you buy, because even if you buy 3000 megahertz RAM, it's not at all guaranteed to run at that speed.
And I don't agree with getting a Ryzen 7 1700 with a 1080 Ti. Yeah. It's going to bottleneck the 1080 Ti. Yeah. If you're running at 1080p, if you're running at 4K, you're going to be fine. But those aren't really good combinations right there. I can speak I can speak English. That is one of the South African languages. 9, there's
11.
Yeah, I can speak English.
That would be one of the other 10 from Afrikaans then.
Yes. My wife can speak Zulu.
Speak or understand?
A little bit of both.
I'm going to test her.
She's learning.
Cool.
Yeah. But I've got nothing.
Also, like you're saying, what is that person planning to use that PC for?
Exactly.
Maybe they're just looking for the CUDA cores. Not then again.
1600 by 900 at 136 hertz, 32-bit progressive. That.
Okay, you know what? I can believe that if it's a 1080p panel, because that's what people usually do.
It's under res.
Yeah, it's like I can run 800 by 600, 200 hertz, because the whole thing is it's the amount of bandwidth it needs to push.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works. A 900p monitor is a bad argument at any resolution.
Yeah.
I mean any frame rate.
Yeah, two 1440p monitors. I can see the 1080 Ti struggling with the 1700 at 1440p. Because it would
You recommend a 7700K instead.
Absolutely, I'd recommend
at 5 gigahertz.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's the thing. Like for gaming, it's good enough. Sure.
Yes.
But it's like if you're building a gaming PC, buy Intel.
And you're buying a 1080 Ti, get the 7700K.
Yeah. Unless he's gonna stream.
That's true.
If he's going to stream, hundreds.
Yes.
Perfect system.
1080 Ti is cool and all, but what about our cheap guys? Is the 1050 Ti good enough for 1080p display, or do I go RX 470 but then do I go RX 480? It depends on what games you're playing. 1050 Ti is good enough for most like casual games. And like if you want medium settings at 1080p on AAA games, don't go 470. They're still not of really good value.
Considering his name is Gert Olivier, he lives in South Africa, go for the RX 480 at Woodware because it's ultra cheap compared to the others anyway.
It's totally worth it. Like the price difference between the 480 and the 470 is so negligible that just save the extra money.
Just get the 480, be done with it.
Yes. Then Trident Z RAM will reach 3000 megahertz. It's not just the fact that Trident Z RAM is rated for higher frequency. It also is a better memory chip. It's Samsung B-Die, which is just more stable on Ryzen over the Hynix chips that are used in some of the other ones. So G.Skill actually has some of the best memory that you could be using on Ryzen because of its Samsung B-Die. But then there's also other memory manufacturers like Team has their high-end memory uses Samsung B-Die.
Okay. Team's pulled out of the country as far as I know. The last Team memory I bought... Really? Matrix? Because the last I had was...
I got a review sample.
Oh yeah, you're right. But no one buys from... Okay,
no
one I know buys from Matrix.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Zulu swear words. Fantastic. RX 470 is 10% less than the 480 and around $60 cheaper. Depends on where you live. In some places, it's not anywhere cheaper at all. The 480 is totally worth it. It's a great budget card. The 4GB model, absolutely.
Yeah, you've even said like 4 gig versus 8 gig for 1080p gaming.
No
zero
difference. No difference whatsoever.
It's not worth paying more.
Yeah. I wouldn't even consider it. Okay.
Okay, guys, we're pretty much at the end of it. So if you guys have any questions based on anything else,
last minute questions,
Q&A time, please let us know either in Discord or in the YouTube chat, and we'll try to answer anything on Ryzen, what we've done recently, whatever. Why Brett's wearing a hat?
No, I wear a hat because I wear hats.
He's balding in the middle of his head right now.
Matrix warehouse. I just can't even. I literally can't.
How does that already have 16 views if it's not public?
Because anytime that I go and like view the cards to like add a cards, so
it counts as a view.
It counts as a view because I check the cards to check if the resolutions have processed. Because this is my first video that's going to be 4K 60 FPS. How
did you do? Oh, the game.
Yeah.
Did you record the game at 4K 60?
No, it's upscaled.
Okay.
Yeah. Budget gaming R5 1600 and RX 484 gigabytes. Yeah, that sounds like a great system.
Yeah.
I don't see any issues with that.
And
the
also,
Red Dragon RX 480 seems very cheap compared to the other ones Woodware has for offer.
Right now, there's apparently confirmation that having NVIDIA like GPU with Ryzen right now even is being gimped at the moment because of
drivers.
Yeah, drivers. They didn't have access to Ryzen. So like at launch at least, if you had a 1600 and let's say a 1060 or a 1600 and a 480, you most likely to actually have a better experience with the 480 just because of the AMD native drivers.
The Red Dragon is inexpensive. It is not a cheap card.
What are they asking?
The Red Dragon seems very cheap compared to the others that Woodware has for offer. It's inexpensive. It's not a cheap card. It's going to do everything that you need it to. It's not going to be the best. Like there are videos out there that showing that power color is not good if you're going to do extreme overclocking. If you're just going to have a normal system where you're normally going to run it, it's a perfectly respectable brand.
But even the other brands that are available on their sites are not that much more. Go for a 480.
Yeah.
I still recommend a 480 over a 1050 Ti a million times over.
Right.
Okay, other questions. RX 480, 3,300 Rand. Wow, that's, yeah.
When's the Half-Life stream? Eventual. Yeah, I don't have any plans for that. You're
still trying to catch up.
Yeah, I'm catching up. We had to go to that event over the weekend, so that took time.
Any good suggestions for a monitor to pair with a 1070 that won't break the bank and be good for gaming?
Dell stuff. Yes. I'll get it. I'll pull it up.
Yes, the Dell 24-inch 1440p. No, it was my slop.
Oh, okay.
Your name is Afrikaans, so you're probably in South Africa as well. Go to...
I'll pull it up. It up. Okay.
There's a 1440p Dell IPS 60Hz panel. That doesn't break the bank. And if you're someone that's trying to go for high refresh rates, well, sorry, everything breaks the bank.
Yes.
That's the unfortunate case right now that like going for 144 Hz monitor is not under $5,000 for anything even semi worth considering. And then you're going to be stuck on 1080p, which I don't really recommend 1080p in any scenario as an upgrade unless you're already behind 1080p.
This is the one you're talking about, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
4,299
Put in
rand.
the link in the video description.
Overpriced for PC Zone was awesome. Oh my gosh! So the guy bought from Edge Warehouse Belito. Belito used to have the shop called PC Zone that was just like amazing. Like honestly, you would walk in there, and I don't know how. I think they did like illegal. I'm just saying,
Byron.
like illegal
Oh my
importing
gosh. Oh
because
my gosh.
everything was so cheap.
Oh my gosh.
Like XFX.
Yeah.
The XFX, like when they still did Nvidia,
Yeah.
the 460 was like 3 grand cheaper than normal, and it was just like, this card is only 1,000 rand. This is not normal. Why is it so cheap?
Okay.
And everyone used to buy laptops from them because they were just dirt cheap. Like I bought a notebook with like a 330M back in the day for
Sure.
like 6 grand, whereas everywhere else was like 10.
Okay.
That shop was amazing, but they don't exist anymore.
Please don't bring accusations against people on the
Sure.
channel. Oh my gosh.
Sure. It seemed
All
like
right.
there must have been something sketchy because they closed down.
Okay. Okay. If you could guess Ryzen 5 for gaming, what do you think is going to... I think it's going to be just as good as Ryzen 7 for gaming.
Because games aren't really using all the cores yet anyway.
They're not using all the cores. It's going to be about the IPC. The IPC is basically good enough. Instructions per clock, meaning how many instructions it could get done per clock cycle, so everything's going to be fine. I really don't think it's going to be such a big deal.
My PCM building planning, Asus Formula 7700K, 1080 Ti. Need help choosing the other parts. PS case, maybe a 780T. Whoa, 780T is huge. Please, like, just go actually physically find one first and see how big it is before you decide.
Are you going to be water cooling? Because if you're not, I really wouldn't recommend the
wasted
formula.
space.
I would say get the code instead. If you're stuck, if you want to get a Maximus 9, get the code instead of the formula. It has I believe that's the one that has the same backplate, has the same everything. It just doesn't have the EK water blocks on the VRMs.
Go back to other questions.
I'm trying to look something up.
If you could guess Ryzen 5 for gaming,
I already said that. I'm looking something up.
good GPU to pair with the 1700.
Good GPU to pair with the 1700, 1070 or below.
And a 1070 is more than what you need for 1080p gaming anyway.
And it's good enough for 1440p gaming. It's
Yeah.
perfect for 1440p gaming. Oh my gosh. Formula has the EK water blocks. Then where's the other Maximus? Maximus 9 code has the same front plate, and then I don't know if it has a back plate. I can't see from these pictures if it has a back plate. But the code has the same front plate, so I would get that over the formula if you're not. You want to get water cooling. Are you really going to water cool your VRMs? Like that's another level of water cooling besides just like you want to water cool your CPU or get an all-in-one.
Yeah, that's kind of a valid thing. It's like, instead of going for Ryzen 7 for gaming, go for Ryzen 5 if you're doing more things than normal anyway, because at least you have more threads.
Yes.
But it's like, having 6 threads is better than, having 12 threads is better than having 8 right now in terms of i7 versus Ryzen 5.
Yes.
But at the same time, like most scenarios, you're probably not going to use all 16 threads. So it's like, it's worthwhile to maybe get like a 1070 with Ryzen 5 rather than like a 1060 with Ryzen 7 for the value.
Right. What is Callie talking about importing?
Someone pulled something from Amazon. I don't know. I didn't read the whole conversation.
Okay. All right. I think we're going to end it there. It's been a good night. It's been good chats.
Yeah, I still need to drive home. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
we're
tired.
both tired.
So
It was
much
a
driving
long weekend. It was a
recently.
really good weekend, but just really long. So we're gonna end it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for showing up for B-roll this week. Number 13.
Wow.
We're growing. Everything's going on. Keep on keeping on. Next week's gonna be number 14. So that's how
And
numbers work.
we are considering changing the format visually for next
We'll
week.
see. We'll see. There's stuff going on.
Considering.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the background of my channel, of B-roll, of everything that's happening right now.
Especially because of what may potentially happen next week.
Right.
My
Is
side.
that next week?
My side's next
That's
week.
no.
Yes, it is.
Next Friday.
Not next week, Tuesday, but
Next
I'm saying
Friday.
from next
No,
week,
you're right,
it
you're
may
right.
change everything.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's all good stuff. It's all things that have to be worked out. Nothing bad. Nothing like the channel's going away. Nothing like
All
B-roll's.
positive things, actually.
Yeah, B-roll's not disappearing. None of that. Byron's not getting arrested for hanging squirrels from a lamppost or anything like that. Life is going. I mean, you look like the type of guy. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining the stream. You don't. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Good night, guys. See you next week. Cheers.